In this video, I'm going to be giving a tutorial on Synthflow AI and how to use the AI callers within it. So I'm going to touch on inbound callers, outbound callers, how to set it up with your CRM, and everything in between. Now, if you don't know what Synthflow AI is, it's an AI caller software that you can use to program AI callers that sound exactly like a real person, exactly like a receptionist, that you can use for yourself, for your business, or that you can give to other businesses to help them on their front end. Now, these softwares are some of the most popular and up-to-date tools on the market right now. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving an A to Z on everything within that and how you can use that. I'm going to make this relatively simple, but at the same time, make sure that you understand every area that you need to understand to use this efficiently. And I'm going to be giving a real life example during this video. So if you're not new to my channel, you'll know that I work with AI and I work with businesses specializing in this kind of AI to help them automate their business. And if you're a business owner and you clicked on this video to learn how to implement this within your business, I actually give away a free implementation call with me and my team. It's the first link below in the description of this video, where you can book a free call with me and my team. We can walk you through these systems more in depth and personalize it towards yourself and how this can actually work for you. So if that's something you're interested in, again, first link below in the description of this video. And with that being said, let's jump right into it. So this is the Synthflow Masterclass A to Z. So what we're going to be going over in this video is the full basic A to Z walkthrough of Synthflow and its callers, how to set up the callers, both inbound and outbound, your GoHighLevel setup, and an example of the caller in action. So with that being said, let's go into the full basic walkthrough. So I'm going to walk you through everything here. So you'll go into your Synthflow and you'll see your analytics. So this is everything, the minutes you used, the call you used, whether they failed, completed, voicemail, whatever from there. You can check your inbound and your outbound specifically, but this is all your analytics. Now your agents, this is going to be the meat and potatoes of the AI software, of Synthflow itself. So what you're going to see here, it's going to look a little different because I already have agents. But what you're going to do here is this is where you're going to make your agents. So if your screen looks like this, you're just going to create new agent and start from scratch. Now, if you don't have one, I believe it's just two big buttons. Just pick create new agent and start from scratch. Now, you can choose inbound or outbound. I'll go through an outbound one just to show you all the systems included within this. You're going to create one, and I'll create one step by step and explain it. So agent name, very simple. What you're going to categorize your agent as. This isn't anything with the prompt. This isn't what the AI caller is going to call itself. It's just simply for your organization. So let's call it test one. Now, image. It's again just for organizational purposes. Nothing about the caller itself is going to be influenced by this. It's just what it'll show up with there. Now, the AI model. So the AI model, you can choose a few different ones here. This is what the AI is going to reference to actually speak to the prospect. Now, I highly recommend leaving it as whatever Synthflow has right here. Just leave it as 4.0, right? Whatever they recommend, leave it. It works very well. You just have to prompt it separately, and then that'll change how it actually works. So leave this with whatever they recommend. It could be different by the time you see this video. Time zone. Now, the time zone works in a way where it'll reference that time whenever it's making action, going to execute whatever you want it to execute. So this doesn't really matter, but again, for organizational purposes, it's nice when you want to input that number specifically. Knowledge base. Now, we'll talk about knowledge base a little bit more, but basically what knowledge base is it's your full information about the business. So you can think of this, and this acts as basically everything that you have to give a receptionist, every piece of information about your business that a receptionist needs to interact efficiently and smoothly with a prospect. That's what you're going to add. And I'll show you how to do that, and I'll show you how to hook it up a little bit after. Over here, custom vocabulary. Now, this, you can add business terms to improve the accuracy and recognition. So, let's say your business has a term, has something that makes it reputable. You can add it here. If it's just for basic receptionist, if it's just for basic outbound, I don't recommend you guys do this. It works well, and you can do this a lot in the prompt. This is more if it's going free, if it's not going 100% on a script. So you guys can play around with that. Filter words here, something that an agent shouldn't say. Again, if you have the script in the prompt, you shouldn't have to worry about this, but you guys can play around with that. Usually it doesn't swear or say any words that are bad anyways, but you guys can play around with that, see how that works. Use realistic filler words. Now, I recommend you turn this on because this will just be, when it's talking, it'll have those natural filler words that we usually say, right? Like, like, I just said like. So it'll make those filler words inside the prompt when it's talking, and I recommend that you guys turn this on. Now for voice. This is how your AI agent is going to sound. And so language here, self-explanatory. You probably want to keep this as English. Now the voice, this is a big one. So you can choose all the different voices here. I recommend you choose 11 Labs. Now 11 Labs, if you guys aren't familiar, it's the best place to get AI voices out there. And you can use the voices directly from 11 Labs to go within this. So you can go through this as you see 215 results. Jessica isn't actually the voice I like to use. I like to use Graham, I believe it is. But you guys can play around with this, see which one works best for you. Patience level. This is how long the AI is going to wait until it responds after the prospect has talked. So I recommend you keep this low, right? You don't want the AI agent to be waiting 5 seconds for a response. It's not going to be efficient. So keep this low, keep this 1 second. Voice prompting, I don't recommend you guys play around with this. This, again, can be done in the prompt, but basically it just slightly alters the voice intonation, the pacing. Whatever is here, it just slightly changes it with whatever you want to do. And so from here, optimize latency. Again, this is similar to your patience level. You want to keep this none. I highly recommend that, right? You want this to be as quick and as smooth as possible. You know, this is already good, just keeping it at the base settings. Just keep it at the base settings. This is what I recommend anyways. But you guys can play around with this. You know, if it's higher, it'll be more accurate. But if it's lower, it might say stuff it doesn't. But it usually doesn't anyways. So my recommendation, stability. This is how your voice is going to sound. So if you keep this expressive, it's going to sound way more emotional, way more outgoing, expressive, right? Which with whatever voice you choose. But it could say stuff different from your prompt, and it could say things that maybe you don't want it to say. Now, I recommend you don't do as expressive as it can go, and you definitely don't do as stable as it can go. You don't want it to sound like a high-pitched child, nor do you want it to sound like a robot. You want to keep it in the middle, right? You want it to sound like a human. I recommend keeping it at balanced or somewhere in the middle of balanced and dynamic. You guys can play around with this. You guys can test this. But yeah, whatever from there. With your stability, style exaggeration, similar to this, right? Whatever the original voice sounds like, you can change it so it'll be, you know, more exaggerated, more the same. I recommend just keeping this at minimal, right? The voice itself, you can play around with the voices. If you have a crappy voice, putting this up to 100% isn't going to make it a good voice. I recommend getting a good voice, and you have to keep this at 0. It makes it way more stable, way more simpler. So yeah, that's there. Fade out on interruption. So that's if the AI agent is talking and the prospect talks while the AI agent is talking, it'll take how many ever milliseconds for the voice to slowly fade out. So I recommend you keep this like from 5 to 10. You don't want it at 0, so it just instantly stops sounds whenever they talk. And you might not want it at 20, as it might be too much, but you guys can play around with this. All I recommend is don't put it at 0, but yeah, that's all from there. Now, call configuration. This is a good setting that you guys can play around with. So noise cancellation. Basically, what this does is you can add background noise. So if you add background noise, you can put it as an office or cafe. And basically, when the AI agent is talking, in the background, you can hear the noises of an office or a cafe. Now, for the noise, I highly recommend you guys keep this at like 1 to 5%. Anything past this is way too much in my opinion. It overpowers the voice. You want it just a little bit, so it obviously gives it that human touch. So I recommend you guys play around with this, you know, 1 to 5. As for noise cancellation, if you put it on advanced while the background noise is on, it'll remove the background noise just more advanced from your background noise that you choose here. I recommend just keeping it at whatever Synthflow tells you. Again, you can play around with this. Maximum idle duration. So this is how long the agent will disconnect after no sound has been taken, right? After the prospect hasn't talked to the AI agent. I recommend you guys play around with this, but really you don't want to keep this more than like 10-15 seconds, because realistically, if someone doesn't talk to you for 10-15 seconds, they're probably not on the call, or they're not going to finish the call anyways. So to save your guys' minutes, I recommend you guys keep this 10 to 15. Speaker boost, don't turn this on. Right? It just makes the voice harder to play around with. You want to keep this as simple as possible. Idle reminders, after however many seconds, so 4 seconds, the AI agent will say, I'm still here, do you have any questions? I recommend you guys keep this at, yeah, like 4, even a little bit higher, like 7 seconds, anywhere from there. Pause before speaking. So this is at the beginning of the call. This isn't every single time that the agent speaks. This is at the beginning of the call. So if you're using an outbound and you want the prospect to talk first, you're going to keep this at like 3 seconds. That's what I recommend. But you guys can play around with this. Again, it's just before the agent starts speaking at the beginning of the call, so don't get that mixed up. Limit call duration. This is how long the agent will be on before it automatically shuts off, no matter if someone's talking to it or not. I recommend you guys keep this on and keep it at like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, because you don't want to use up your minutes, right? If something happens, the person keeps talking, who knows, but you don't want to use up your minutes. Enable recordings, 100% do this. You want to see the data from the calls afterwards, and you're going to want to test and iterate with that. So with that, definitely keep this on, right? When you go into here, it'll show you your calls. You can listen to the transcript, everything like that. Now, enable transcripts. Again, you can do that if you want. Same thing goes with the calls here. Limit data retention to 30 days. I don't recommend this. Again, you want to keep your data as highly as possible. But that's everything for the configuration part of this. Now, the prompt part of this, and this is a very big part of this. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll know how I talk about this and how we actually get this done. But what you're going to do for the prompt, right? This is just how your AI agent is going to be, right? Like what kind of person it's going to be, how it's going to respond to you. So to do this, I recommend you do this through ChatGPT. Now, you don't have to do this through ChatGPT, but if you go through ChatGPT, just basically get a voice note. I'm making an AI caller for Synthflow. Make me a good prompt. This is what I need, blah, blah, blah. Or you can go through here and just go through this template that they already give you, right? This is Synthflow's template. So what's here, Synthflow wants you to do. So you can just go through here and just replace with your own information, right? Introduction. Let's say you want to name your AI agent Emily, right? You are Emily, a appointment setter for John's HVAC, right? Whatever it may be, you're going to want to do that. And just go down, right? Product information, target audience, objection handling, and instructions, right? If there's any objections that you commonly get, you can write that down and write down how you want it to respond. If you want it to respond in a really efficient way, you can use ChatGPT to help you with that. And then yeah, from there, the script instructions, you can get the script itself. You can get the AI agent to go directly with the script if you want to do that. Use ChatGPT to help you with that. But yeah, all you're going to want to do is go through here. The greeting message, this is the first message it's going to say before it goes into your prompt. So this is really important for outbound calls, especially if you use that 3-second delay. You're going to want to have the greeting message as, hey, this is blank with blank, how are you doing today, or something like that, right? So this is pretty important. Another thing I want to touch here is variables. So let's say for the variables, you want to have it as, hey there, name, right? So you can keep this as name, and it's going to keep a variable. Now, I'll touch on how this works within GoHighLevel, but basically whatever you have the prospects variable in, so the name, the address, the phone number, whatever that may be, you're just going to want to keep it with these brackets and put it there, and then keep it within your script. So we'll touch on that later and how that works within GoHighLevel. But basically, that's all you're going to do to program it. And on the starter plan, right, how you're going to want to do this is you're going to just want to buy the starter plan. Now, the starter plan's $30 a month, I believe. Okay. $30 a month, and you get 50 minutes. That's way more than enough to test, to iterate, to see what works. So you're just going to want to test this, iterate this for those 50 minutes, and then once you have a good thing, you can obviously deploy it. Now, actions. This is a big thing. So this is where we're going to get our information from the calls. This is where the actions within the calls are going to go. So if you see my video, you talk about connecting GoHighLevel to Synthflow, and that's what we're going to do here. So how we're going to do this is we're going to go to integrations and just go through GoHighLevel. Now, I already have this installed, so I'm not going to do this again, but basically you're just going to go to integrations, go on to GoHighLevel, and just go through the instructions it gives you. And as soon as that's connected, it's very easy. You just go through the instructions. You're going to get the option, right? You're going to have your calendar that you're going to want to use, right? There's different calendars here. You're just going to want to create one. You can create one as a round robin. I'll go through this as we're connecting it more, but as you see, right, I was using this call for my Synthflow agents. These were actually real agents that I was using. So all you're going to do, as soon as that's connected, you're just going to add action, real-time booking. Now you can play around with these. This is more advanced, this call transfer, the custom action, but really the basic thing you're going to want to do here is real-time booking. Now, as soon as your GoHighLevel is connected, you're going to get this pop-up. This is my GHL booking, and this is going to use the calendar that you specify. So as you can see, I only have one active. It's going to take from this calendar. I believe the ID you might have to input, but it's really simple to do from there. Then your real-time booking is up and away. Now what this does is when the AI agent goes through its prompt, when you give it the objective to book a call, it's going to reference this calendar for the availability, for the times it's available, and it's going to book the person directly into that. Now, furthermore, after the call, and this is another really important thing, this is going to get you your calls, and this is going to make the calls efficient for you. So what you're going to do here, you can send SMS. Now, if you want to send SMS, you're going to have to get a Twilio number within Synthflow. Another thing I didn't touch on is the phone numbers itself. So all you can do here is just buy a number, right? Synthflow is pretty good with this. There's a lot of numbers, a lot of different area codes you can do. All you're going to do is buy a number from there. Now, if you want to send an SMS, you do need a Twilio number because it is A2P approved. So that's something you can do from there. Information extractor, this is a big thing, right? If you're going to want to use webhooks to create the contacts, stuff like that, you're going to want to do that. Now, I already created some open-ended questions, but basically what you're going to do there is you're just going to create yes or no question, single choice, or open question. I like to use the open question because this is going to reference the transcript and whatever information that fits within this, it's going to use. So the identifier, this is just, again, an organizational thing. So let's say you're going to want to find their monthly bill per month, right? Monthly. And make sure to underscore this as well. It doesn't use spaces, right? Monthly bill. Well, the AI should extract from the call, right? Find the customer's electricity bill per month. Something very simple to that. The AI is smart enough, it can reference whatever you say. Just give it a simple and, obviously valid description, and it's going to do it for you. Now, output examples. What this is similar answers to what you're looking for. So let's say for electricity bill per month, it's pretty straightforward, right? Let's say $200 a month, right? Or even just $200, just whatever you think the process is going to say when it's going to find out this information. So you can add as many examples as you want. It's pretty efficient within that. And then from there, after the end of the call, it's going to go through the transcript and again, extract the call from the information. Now, you can further go through webhooks and use this information to create a contact, but that is more advanced. This is simple. You can just reference the call afterwards. As you're learning this is all you really need. So that's all for actions. Now, before the call, this you don't really need. Like if you're initiating these calls, if you're getting these with triggers, you're never going to need this, but that's something you guys can play around with. Deployment, that is just where you're going to assign your phone number, right? Again, like I said, you're going to buy a phone number from here. If you have a phone number, it's going to pop up here, right? I can use this phone number that I have. From there, you can create webhooks. This is where that contact is going to use. Again, this is pretty advanced. This is something you guys can play around with. This you're not gonna worry about, again, because you already hooked up your GoHighLevel. You're not gonna worry about that. Calls, and this is where you're gonna see your calls as it comes through. So within all that, that's the configuration for the calls. And now that's the outbound call. Now we're going to go over the inbound call, and the inbound call is extremely similar to this, right? 98% of this is already done. It's already explained. But now one big thing with this is that you're going to want to keep the pause before speaking at 0, right? Because with the outbound call, you're calling someone, they usually answer first. So you're going to want to keep that delay. Within this, you want to keep this at 0, right? Because they're talking to you. Now, another thing here is ring duration. So basically the AI agent answers immediately. But with the ring duration, you can have it where you can see how long it's going to ring before the AI agent actually starts talking to, again, just simulate that human interaction. Now, you can have this from 0 to 30 seconds. There could be different use cases for each. I recommend that, 3 to 4 seconds. You want it to be as similar as a receptionist as you can. And that's really all for the inbound agent. Everything here is the same and you set up within the outbound, and that's really it. So that's how you create the inbound and the outbound agent, and what every single setting and how you're going to do that is with. Now, knowledge base. This is what I was talking about before. This is just the information that you have about your business that a receptionist is going to need to make those smart, answers, right? Let's say you offer a $500 package. The AI agent, when it's talking, if the prospect is going to ask a question like that, it's going to reference whatever document you have with the information and make a decision based on that. So this is pretty important to do. And all you're going to want to do for this is you're just going to upload, a document, a PDF file, paste from URL, whatever. Now, a trick to this, and a trick that I mentioned on my YouTube videos previous to this, by the way, if you guys want to check that out on the full system on how I actually use these AI systems in Tangent to create a system that works, you can check out the videos. You can check out the link in the description of this video. You can book a free call with me and my team where we go in depth on how we can actually deploy this within your business. If you want to learn how to do this, just book a call, right? I love speaking about this. Me and my team will be happy to speak about you. But anyways, all you can do is create a blank document. And what you're going to do is go in ChatGPT and just leave a 20 to 30 minute voicemail or a voice message on everything within your business, right? What time it was established, right? What year's established, how old it is, how big your company is, how many people you service, anything like that. You're just gonna spitball. Then after that, you're gonna ask ChatGPT if there's any other information you need to make a better decision to, create the agent with higher efficiency. Ask me those questions. And after you have that, you're just gonna upload it into a blank document, paste your content here, right? You can name it whatever. This is one I already have. Then as soon as you save this, when you go into your agents, you can add your knowledge base right here. So it's pretty simple from there, and the deployment is relatively simple. And that's it for that. Now, actions, this is just all the actions that it's going to state from the during the booking, the after booking, whatever. So you're going to do this within the AI agents itself, but this is just to see where this all is. Now, I don't ever use this page because honestly, it's not that efficient in my opinion. You can just do it from the agent. That's what this is. Now, workflows. And I'm not familiar with the workflows in here because I do it all through GoHighLevel. It's way easier to do. It's way more easy to track. But if you guys wanted to play around with this, basically, if you have contacts in here, you can create workflows that'll basically get the AI agent to do whatever it is you want to do with the calls. Now, again, this can all be done through GoHighLevel, and I'll show you how to do this later in the video. But if you're tech savvy, if you're code savvy, you can go through this 100%, but I don't recommend that you guys play around with this. But if you want to, all the power to you. Now, contacts, if you upload any contacts from wherever into Synthflow, that's just where it's going to house. I'm not going to click on this and show the contacts, but this I don't recommend because we're going to do this all through GoHighLevel anyways with the way that we're going to make the calls through GoHighLevel. So you can go through contacts, phone numbers, again, phone numbers that you have that you want to buy, integrations, any other integrations that you may want to do. OpenAI, you don't have to do, it's already automatically done. But that's it for Synthflow, right? That's everything we explained. The agents are obviously a huge part of this. I explained everything from there. And from that, everything should be ready to go on the Synthflow side. Now, we're going to go into the GoHighLevel side. So how we're going to get the AI agent to actually make these calls, right? Because we have everything, we have the contacts, whatever. Now we need to make it execute. So how we're going to do this is we're just going to create a new workflow and just start from scratch. Now, there's two ways that you can do this. One of the ways is through a trigger. Now, if you watch my videos again, you can do this through Facebook ads. This is a good way to do it. As soon as someone triggers a Facebook lead form, right? So as soon as they figure out that form, whatever, it'll go through the workflow. Now, if you just want to input this manually, you're going to have this as nothing, right? You're not going to have this, and you're just going to input the contacts into the workflow. And I'll show you how to do that. But basically, after that, as if you have the trigger or not, you're going to search up make a phone call. Now, what you're going to do from here and how you're going to set this up, you have model, phone, name, blah, 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 everything from here. The model. So what the model ID is you're going to reference the outbound caller with the inbound caller. You know, you're not going to have to do this because your GoHighLevel is already set up with the booking. You're going to go to your outbound caller, and this is your model ID. So whatever this is, you're just going to copy this, and you're going to put this into the model ID. And then from there, the AI caller is going to call these people from GoHighLevel. Now, for phone number, this isn't your phone number, or this isn't the AI agent's phone number, whatever you hook it up as. This is the contact's phone number. So you're going to upload your contacts into GoHighLevel, and you're just going to have it as contact phone raw, right? If you go through here and you just go to contact, go to phone, this is what it's going to come up as. So you're going to keep that. For name, again, this is a expressive value, I believe they call it. So you're just going to go contact, first name, right? Contact, first name. And then if you go through here and on your prompt you have hi there, first name, it's going to reference this first name right here. Oh, API key. This is going to be your API key. It's going to be different for every account, and all you're going to do is just copy that. I don't know if I'm going to expose my API key here, but you're just going to go on to that. Now, for prompt, leave this blank, right? Your prompt is already done within Synthflow. And after that, keys. Now, what keys and values are, is it's going to reference whatever you have within your prompt. So let's say you have name, right? You can use this as anything. This doesn't matter if it's name. You can name an elephant and it'll still act as the name. But basically what you're going to do from here, whatever the key is. So the key is the GoHighLevel. So whatever their raw value is. So if we're referencing the contact's first name, we're going to do contact first name. Then as the value, we're going to input whatever this variable is. Now, you're not going to use the brackets. You're just going to use the thing inside. But you're going to use name. And it's going to go like that. So now your key from GoHighLevel is your contact first name. Every time that it references name within this, it's going to reference, right, contact first name. And that's how that works within it. And, you know, it depends on how many variables you have. You can do 5 here. Not going to use 5 anyways, realistically. And with that, that's how you set up your agent. API key. I'm not going to put my API key. But that's how you're going to set this up. And from there, the only thing it comes down to is booking your content. So what you can do from here is simply import contacts. You're going to just have your contacts in a spreadsheet, whatever that may be. And then you're just going to go next, right? Input your whatever from here. And then as soon as you have this, you're going to go back and you're going to select the contacts and add them into workflow. So I'll do one here. So select all, add to automation, and action name, doesn't matter what you put this in, workflow. And then whatever workflow you have, I already have one for booking phone calls. Then as soon as you add this into automation, they're all going to go through that and they're all going to be executed with a call, with their first name, with everything. And within that, that's really the full A to Z basic walkthrough on Synthflow. Now from here, I'm going to do the moment you're all waiting for, right? A sample of the AI agent actually in action. So I forgot that on this account, I didn't renew it. I'm not currently using this account and I don't have any minutes to actually do a test call, but I will show you the next best thing, which is a recording that I did have with this AI agent. So yeah, you can hear this. This is around how it's going to sound. This was at the very stages of the programming, so it's not going to sound as polished, but this is going to sound something
Hi, Liam.
like
This is
this.
Noah. How have you been?
Hey Noah, I've been good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm just following up about the electrical meter that was installed on 624 Elmer Street. That's your property, right?
One thing to note there, the 626 Elmer Street or whatever they said, that was a dynamic value. So that took from the lead list that you got, right, from the lead information that you got, and it's going to say that.
Yeah, that's my
So
property.
anyways.
Got it. Over the last few years, they've upgraded most meters in Texas from analog to digital.
So you kind of get the point. You can see the value behind that. You can see the quality behind that. And with that, that's the basic tutorial on Synthflow, right? Everything from A to Z, everything from the agents to programming the agents, from the workflows, everything from there. Now, as I talked about earlier in the video, right, we went through all of this. If you want to do and learn this more in depth, if you want to implement this into your business, or you want to learn how to do this yourself, you can actually book a call with me and my team. First link in the description of this video. It's completely free, a completely free call, 30, 45 hour, minute long call with me and my team. You can ask us any questions, completely free. It's first link in the description of this video. You really have nothing to lose, potential life-changing value. AI is the next big thing. This software is going to be the next big thing. And with that, we give you the opportunity to learn firsthand from experienced people like myself. So with all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got value. If you want to, again, book the call with us, we hope to see you and I hope to speak with you soon with me and my team. And with that, we hope that you crush it in 2025 with AI.